Sonic New. I was going to cover this mod a few months ago, but I found it really hard to think of anything to put in the script. Then an update came out for the guy and I'd lost any motivation to cover him. I did promise the creator, BuggieTheBug, that I'd cover them someday though, so only a few months later than planned, let's dive right in. Sonic New joins a long list of SRB2 mods who all attempt to improve and tweak vanilla Sonic's moveset in a variety of different ways, although it usually almost always boils down to increasing the skill ceiling at the cost of increasing the overall difficulty of using the character. Think someone like Crystal Sonic. I don't think Sonic New is quite at that level, but he does feel like a step up in complexity compared to vanilla Sonic. His double jump spawns a spring, which functions exactly as you'd expect, launching you high up in the air like any other spring, but I don't know, I feel like I've seen this one somewhere before. I can't quite place my finger on it though. Your spin dash has been replaced by a spam dash, which is quite similar to Crystal Sonic's spin drift, and is also mainly used like the spin drift to maintain your dash mode. I don't quite know what it is about Sonic New's dash mode though, but it feels odd compared to how most other characters utilise it. Replaying and looking back at footage, I think it's how it continues to gradually build up to the high speeds dash mode can reach instead of simply flipping a switch and instantly reaching that speed. Being that this is a high level character, dash mode doesn't seem to be able to break spikes, but I think that actually works with this character's design philosophy. He's about reaching and maintaining speed, but you need the skill and knowledge to be able to maintain it with the weaker abilities than most other characters. Spin in air, and in a situation where it's applicable, such as after launching off a spring, you're able to recurl back into a ball state, an ability I'm always happy to see. The other ability mapped to your in-air spin is the Smash Down Air, named aptly after the ability from the Super Smash Bros. Series. Think pretty much a Thok that travels diagonally downwards. I'll admit that I can't really see much usage for this outside of using it in the Pink Liquid in Techno Hill and Haunted Heights, and I think making it continue your rolling state after hitting the ground could very quickly make it that little bit more versatile. Last but not least, Sonic New has the ability to slide and jump off walls and even onto ceilings. His wall jumps are nothing particularly spectacular, the most unique thing about his wall state being his ability to continue spam dashing on them, although this seems to be somewhat broken in that it seems to be highly inconsistent with how far you'll actually travel up the wall, with how long you hold spin seemingly having little to actually do with it. The ceiling running is surprisingly significantly less sickening than I thought it'd be, at least in areas with long stretches of fairly long, flat and uninterrupted ceilings. Once you have to start quickly jumping between the floor and the ceiling every half a second or so, that can make it really hard to follow the action. Sprites wise, I mean, what can I really say? With the exception of the wall running sprites, I think Sonic New uses a completely unedited set of sprites from vanilla Sonic, even down to the colouring and shading looking much the same. A little credit has to be given for how the wall sliding sprite fit in seamlessly with the vanilla sprites, but in the end, this is visually pretty much just Sonic again. I gave Golden Metal Sonic a 5 out of 10 for arguably doing the same thing, but just fill tooling some different colours. So you could argue I'm being quite harsh here, but looking back, I was way too generous with Golden Metal Sonic anyway and should have really given them a much lower score. If you decide to play the tutorial with Sonic New loaded, you won't be greeted with Amy Rose telling you how to move a camera, but rather a brand new tutorial custom built by Roger. This gets you up to speed with Sonic New's moveset, and has a couple of really satisfying ceiling running segments, but bizarrely ends with a small playground seemingly based off the Mushroom Kingdom. Nevertheless, I always enjoy when a mod has a custom tutorial, with the only other mod off the top of my head I've played that does this being Casey, so this would definitely be commended, and it genuinely, sort of, works as a tutorial. I wasn't really clicking with Sonic New when trying him out those few months ago, but by the end of the tutorial, I could see a lot more easily just what BuggieTheBug was going for with this guy. At least, I assume I do. I'm still really bad with him. Sonic New feels like some form of middle ground between the beginner-friendly mods on the SRB2 forums and the high skill ceiling, speedrunner-built, high-level mods. In other words, he's a gateway drug for Crystal Sonic. One day, I really have to re-review him. A fun moveset to mess around with, and I was able to maintain a pretty good sense of flow, but the mod is kinda brought down by the unchanged sprites. I know it's supposed to be a different moveset for the same character, but even some slight shading changes could really go a long way to differentiating the mod. Overall, I'll give him a 6 out of 10, the sprite really pulling that score down. Control 2 has been announced. Expect a video analysing that piece of concept art they released with the announcement, but until then, I hope you enjoyed the video, and ciao.